You know that feeling when you're out, you meet someone, and you get their Instagram? We often chalk that up as a win, but what if it's actually the first step into a trap? Today, we're going to dive into a very specific and, yeah, pretty rigid dating playbook from an influential online source. It's a strategy designed to take you from being just another fan scrolling through her stories to a real-world suitor. And this one quote, man, it gets right to the heart of the problem this whole thing is trying to solve. You have a great conversation, you feel a real spark, and then it all just ends with you becoming one more follower in a long, long list. This playbook is built around one single goal, making sure that never, ever happens. Which brings us to the big question, right? In this age of just endless DMs and notifications, how do you actually take a connection from the phone screen and bring it into the real world? Well, according to the source, it's not about luck, it's all about strategy. And the playbook lays out a really clear, some might even say inflexible set of rules. So let's break them down. Okay, first up, we've got to really understand the problem this system is trying to fix. The source talks about a totally new kind of friend zone, one that exists completely on social media. This framework draws a very hard line in the sand. Getting an Instagram handle is not a victory. In fact, it's seen as a trap that turns you into fan number 1333, just another person giving her attention. The real prize, the only one that actually matters in this playbook, is a phone number. Why? Because it signals a huge shift in status. You go from a fan to a potential partner. It's framed as the only real gateway to an actual, real-world connection. So, if the phone number is the only goal that counts, how do you get it? Well, that leads us right into our next section, the very precise steps you're supposed to take to make that first interaction count and lock in an actual date. The source lays out these 3 golden rules. And let me be clear, in this system, the order is everything. It is not negotiable. First, you have to lock in a commitment for a real-world meeting while you're still talking to her for the first time. Only then, after a plan is kind of floating in the air, do you ask for her number. And this last part is crucial. The advice is to keep your communication direct. In this world, sending tons of emojis or trying to be the funny guy over text is seen as childish, a sign that you're maybe a little thirsty and not a serious prospect. Now we're getting to the real core of this strategy. It's a very specific test, and it's designed to do 2 things: gauge how interested she really is, and, according to the source, establish your leadership in the whole interaction. But before we get into the test, you have to understand this key term from the source: masculine frame. You can see it there in Arabic as well. Now, this concept is really central. It's the idea that the man should be the one leading the interaction, setting the terms, and controlling the pace. According to this logic, giving up that control or having your frame broken is a huge mistake. So how do you use this frame to figure out if she's genuinely interested without just coming out and asking? Well, according to this playbook, you don't ask, you test. And here's exactly how the test works. You offer 2 specific options, like Monday or Wednesday. If she picks Monday, the earlier date, it's read as high interest. Simple enough. If she picks Wednesday, the later one, interest is considered medium. But, and this is the key part, if she counters with her own suggestion, like, what about Friday? This is seen as a test. She's challenging your leadership and trying to break your frame. And the counter move is just as specific. You don't accept her new date. The advice is to politely decline, say you're busy, and tell her that you'll get in touch with her later to reschedule. By doing this, you've rejected her attempt to take the lead, and, in the logic of this playbook, you've successfully held your frame. Okay, you've successfully set the date. Now what? Well, this next section is all about what you're supposed to not do. It's all about the strategic use of silence. This quote from the source really captures the entire philosophy in a nutshell. The idea being presented here is that constant contact is an attraction killer. You have to create space, a little bit of mystery, to actually allow her interest to build on its own. So here's what that looks like in the real world. Imagine you set a date on a Thursday for the following Monday. The rule here is absolute. You have no contact with her on Friday, no contact on Saturday. You go completely silent. Then, on Sunday, you send a single brief text to confirm. That's it.
This no contact zone is 100% intentional and designed to build anticipation.
And to protect that mystery, the source warns against doing these specific things. The good morning texts, asking how was your day, or constantly checking in before the date. According to this logic, every single one of those messages makes you seem way too available, too guaranteed, and it just chips away at the attraction that you've built.
All right, we've made it to the last piece of the playbook. Think of this as the advanced technique, something that's designed to make you stand out from a sea of other guys just texting her. The source calls this concept vocal familiarity. It's the idea that you should strategically switch from sending texts to sending voice notes. And the goal is to make the connection feel more real, more personal, by getting her used to the actual sound of your voice. And the playbook really draws a stark contrast between these two. If you're only a texter, you're just an icon on a screen. The whole connection feels abstract, and it's incredibly easy to just be dismissed, along with all the other notifications. But by using your voice, you become a real person. The source argues this simple switch is a really powerful way to finally leave that fan category behind and build a genuine connection that text just can't match. So, when you boil it all down, this whole playbook operates on one core belief: that attention is not something you should give away freely, but that it's actually a valuable currency. And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question. In the modern dating world, is how you withhold your attention maybe even more important than how you give it?